I want to transfer our conversation to the main part of today. First of all, thank you, Ingolf and Tim, for joining us. And let me pass the baton over to you guys.
Okay. Thank you, Ethan. Maybe I start and hand over to Tim, who's talking about the real beef. I'm just doing the introduction for Milch Zucker. We are a Germany-based ATS company. We have our headquarter in Gießen. That's right in the middle of Germany. For those who are familiar with the geography here in Germany. And we belong in a bigger picture to Bertelsmann. It's a media company in Germany, and they started, I think, 3 or 4 years ago, an HR tech branch, and we are one of their key investments there. Milch Zucker itself was founded 25 years ago, so we are quite long for a long while in the market. We have an ATS mainly for larger corporates and public services like security, police, banks, Lufthansa, Porsche, Commerzbank, and you name a few. But also, of course, some smaller companies as well. We started, I think, half a year ago or a year ago, kind of an initiative to bring together our banking customers and with the idea to build something with verifiable credentials for them. And I think we are on a good way there, but it's of course, it's as you all know, it's a slow process to find the right solution and use case for velocity there. But nevertheless, we introduced a demo case for them. I think 2 months ago, we had a meeting with all of them and introduced the demonstrator. And from there, we are now going to some hopefully specific implementations. And then I will hand over to Tim, and he will do an introduction in our demonstrator and the key findings there.
Thanks, Ingolf.
Okay, hi. Thank you for the introduction, Ingolf. I will quickly show the demonstrator we showed to the banks in that meeting a couple of months ago, just so we're all on the same page and know what went on back then. Basically, this is just a very simple demo page to make the whole velocity network topic a bit more accessible to people that don't really know what it is or don't have the technical understanding. So basically, in this demonstrator, you can do 3 things. You can issue a credential. You can request credentials from users who have a wallet with credentials already in them. And you can view the credentials that were submitted to the company. So basically, if I'm a recruiting company right now or a bank in the use case that we discussed, then I can issue a credential. I will specify a purpose. This is basically a working report of for some employee. So you can specify their role. You can have a description of what they did. So this is just some text that we filled in to show what it could look like. You can specify the starting and the end date of the employment and the type. Let's say it's full-time. And then give the name. I will fill in my credentials here so we can look at it in the wallet in a minute. And now we will submit, and now the credential is being processed. And as you can see, we get a QR code that now the person this credential should belong to can scan, and we can open this in a career wallet. So basically now it will say Milch Zucker is offering credentials to you. And if I want to accept them, I can open them in a Career Lab wallet, and just a second, then I can offer my identity. So then it goes to the right person. And after I share my identity, it'll say these credentials, Milch Zucker is offering multiple credentials to you. Now I can look at these credentials and choose whether I want those or not. Let's say I want them all. And then they will be added to my wallet. Now I have 4 credentials already because we did a little bit of testing here. And then this part of the process is done. Now, if I were to apply to a company that uses these credentials in their workflow for the hiring process, then this company will make a request. So you can submit your credentials, and this you can just request all these types of credentials. So we'll use email, phone, and employment. And then once again, you get a code, and the applying person can scan this code. It'll lead them to this link. And this link will look a lot like the last time we opened the link, but this time it is just here so you can provide the credentials that you received earlier. Now in this example, it'll say Milch Zucker again, because we're still the same company for this demonstration, but this could be any company, whatever. They can make a disclosure request, and then you can share your history. You can choose which ones to share. This is really important because basically you own all this data, and you can choose who sees what. So we'll just share one of them, for example, if I don't want to share everything, and I'll share my identity. Now, after I disclose this, it'll say, okay, you shared these credentials with Milch Zucker. And this will go into my webhook, and then we will be able to see it in the database here. This is me, and I just shared this credential. And this credential can be, it's very easy to use in context of an existing product or software piece, because it can be fully automated into any existing software. So this is basically the demonstration.
Can I ask before, Tim, you go into the development, which
Of
I
course.
really want to hear, what were the kind of feedback that you got when you presented this to the banks? What were their reactions? What questions were asked? What sense did you get of what impressed them or what worried them?
So basically, the first thing in that meeting, you also did a little talk about the velocity network in general, and Ingolf also went into a little bit more detail and explained in the most simple terms what velocity network is and what the benefit is. But after the demonstration, many of the attendees said it got a lot clearer after they could look at it and basically touch it a little bit. So I think that was the most helpful thing.
We went from theoretical knowledge to you can really touch it, and that made understanding the velocity network much easier than it was.